Well, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I'd like to state it's great to be playing meaningful games in November. Old wise football coach once told me they remember November, and we're in the heart of November and playing a meaningful football game this week. It was great. A little bit of recap on last week's game. Tremendous victory for our program. It's just because so many storylines and the long history that Wyoming has had with the Air Force Academy. It's gone back years and years and years with countless number of memorable games. I've been texted by many of our either fans or followers through the years, and that certainly was one of the more memorable Wyoming Air Force games. So it was an excellent win over a good program, a really good program. And we've got a great deal of respect for Air Force, and the games have been competitive. It was great to see our football team deal with adversity and overcome adversity. I also think that there's a bedrock resolve within our football program to keep plugging along and winning and keep believing. And that bedrock belief, I think, is a credit to the men in that locker room, and then also our assistant coaches, because you don't go through the type of season that we've had with some adversity and keep on moving forward. So we need to build on that. Going into this next game, Sean Chambers will not be with us. We were hopeful at the beginning that it wouldn't be something that would be surgical, but it will be surgical. So his season's over. It was great to have him out there competing. He had a great deal of value to our football team. And the status of Nico, I would say, would be day by day. We'll find out a little bit more as we go, but it's going to be day by day with Nico. So Tyler Vanderwall really came in and played exceptionally well, and and he and I had an extended conversation in my office about his role as a backup player. You never know when your number is going to be called, and you have to be prepared, and he certainly was. So it was great to see him go out and make some plays, and he'll be the starter this next week. It was a typical Air Force game. It was a hard-fought, physical game. We got a lot of guys that are going to be able to play against New Mexico, but I think that we're probably certainly more banged up or sore than what we normally have had after games. The other thing was it was win number 5, and that means a lot to our program. And so it certainly was a rewarding win for us, not only with beating a front-range opponent, but playing in the snow. That was a classic type of game that people that will always remember, and I certainly will as a Cowboys football coach. On to New Mexico, big challenge. I've known Bob Davie for many, many years when he was the defensive coordinator at Texas A&M, and a great deal of respect for Coach Davie. He's operated well as a head football coach, coached against him when he was at Notre Dame and then at New Mexico, and their teams are always well prepared. Coach Cosgrove is an excellent defensive coordinator as well. He and I both served at different times as defensive coordinator at the University of Nebraska, and their defense always plays well against us. They're aggressive. And so we've got a great deal of respect for New Mexico. Going to Albuquerque will be a big challenge, be another opportunity for our football team to play. A little bit about New Mexico. First of all, I'd say they're very explosive on offense. They've got excellent skill players. Their offensive sets lend themselves to explosive plays, and they have the skill players to do it. They are rotating quarterbacks right now, and that poses a challenge in itself. But there's a lot of big plays that occur out there. They've got a big athletic offensive line that always seems to be on point. They operate out of a 3-4 defense, which through the years has given us problems. They're an attacking, stinging type defense, and it's going to require us to come up with big plays. For us to put points on the board, we're going to need to have some big plays. Their special teams, they've got the #1 punt return unit in the country, spearheaded by Marcus Hayes. He's a great punt returner. He's averaging close to 19 yards a return, so they can flip the field over. So, their record, I don't think, is any way close to the indication of the type of football team. They have been hot and cold. We're going to assume that they're going to play really hot against us. They always seem to. and so we'll need to be prepared as we get on the plane to go down to Albuquerque on Friday. I had breakfast with a lot of our players today. There is an energized football team. Our guys are really excited. They are drained. It was a hard-fought game, but the attitude and the mentality of this team is really running at a high pace right now, which is encouraging because of all the ups and downs we've had this season. So at this time, I will open it up to any questions anybody may have out there. Yes, Robert.
So Sean, is ankle or leg, and just to follow up with that with Tyler, obviously he's played football for you, so is it just move forward with him? Do things change dramatically, I guess, or how would you kind of approach that?
Well, first of all, the feedback that we gotten from the doctors was there's a break in part of Sean's leg. I saw the highlight of the tape. He got bent over. That's part of football. And the encouraging thing is the outlook would be really encouraging for him to have a full recovery. The collateral damage off an injury like that, typically the guys come back at 100%. When I was in college, I broke both bones of my leg, and I got faster. The only difference was I wasn't very fast to start with. So Sean's in a little bit different case, but we anticipate he'll be back full speed. Concerning what we do offensively, we'll continue to rework the playbook. There are certain things that Tyler does well that actually he was doing better than Sean, and I thought he showed those things in the game. And so we'll look at what he does well, what our offense is doing well right now. We've gone from not hardly scoring any points to being somewhat productive now. I would say more than somewhat productive. And so we'll look and cull through our playbook what we do with our offensive players to try to score as many points as we can. Yes.
And to follow up on Robert's question, on a personal note, on the sideline, watching Tyler Vanderwall go through those series, emotionally, how was that for you? Were you really excited? Was it a little bit of anxiety?
Oh, anytime you change quarterbacks, there's a certain amount of anxiety because there's a different tempo with each guy and how they lead. You know what? Tyler responded really well. And, there was a reason why we made the change. We felt like we needed to spark the offense. And so when he walked out and threw that strike for a touchdown, he drilled the ball. And I think that play signified, hey, I'm here to play. I'm not going to go out and just try to manage this game. And so he took that, I think, that to another step forward, and he competed them. He made plays that he had not made. He made some against Wofford, but he made some exceptional plays, and so it was really encouraging. I also thought it was encouraging to see during the course of this, all the ups and downs, how Tyler had been supportive of Sean, and then vice versa. And that also, I think that embodies what's going on in that locker room. That is kind of a microcosm of potential, quote, offense-defensive splits, which we've never had. You've got two quarterbacks that are vying for a starting spot. You don't have controversy, and those are the things that are allowing our football team to continue to win. Yes.
With Sean, do you know if there's any ligament damage or anything else other than just a break?
You know what? The information that I've been given is that it's a break. There's no ligament damage in there, but they are going to do surgery. Okay. And so anytime you do surgery, that's pretty serious. But I can't tell you, sometimes there can be deep ankle sprains that are very similar to a fracture. Yeah. And so the word I got was he's going to be back. He'll be back at 100%.
Has surgery been scheduled?
I believe so, yes. Okay. Yes.
With Nico's situation, then, is it more of a sprain than having a break in there?
Yeah, that's a sprain, and we just don't know sometimes guys can play with sprained ankle, sometimes you can't. And so that's why I say it'll be day by day with Nico. Yes, Robert.
Follow up with Tracy. I know Javon Bigelow also left the game. His status, and if Valladay made some plays.
Yeah, X made some big time plays. Particularly, he's got that knack on fourth down, and so we'll find out a little bit more on Javon. And his injury is a little bit different than Nico's. It was a rib injury, and the severity. Everybody deals with that differently. Whether it's a bruise, a break, we'll find out a little bit more on that. But we feel really good about X, and he made a nice run for a touchdown there. Yes.
Coach, it's a different system than Air Force, but is the framework help your defense in going back to back with these two opponents with their discipline?
No. I would say it is, it's pretty significantly different, and it's significantly different than what they did last year. And they have a new offensive coordinator, and you know, you can see a different flavor in their offense, and so you know, there are some similarities, but to put them under the same umbrella, kind of like what we used to do, that's really not accurate. They're more of a spread offense that's going to throw the ball and stretch you downfield and move guys around. So it's a little bit different style of offense.